Welcome to today's Bible study. In Job 37, Elihu reaches a climax of his speech, describing God's power through the imagery of a storm, thunder, and snow. He caused Job to consider the greatness of God, but Elihu truly leading Job to the right conclusion. The voice of God in a storm. Elihu, his voice rises like the wind, he declares. At this my heart pounds and leaps from its place. Listen to the roar of his voice and the rumbling that comes from his mouth. A powerful storm rolling across the sky, thunder rumbling. He sees God's voice in thunder. His presence is in the lightning. He unleashes his lightning breath, the whole heaven, and sends it to earth, to the ends of the earth. After he comes the sound of his roar, his thunder with his majestic voice. Elihu wants Job to see that God is beyond human control. The storm, the wind, the rain, and all of his moves at his commands. God's power over creation. Then Elihu shifts to the winter. He says to the snow, fall on the earth, and to the rain shower, be mighty downpour, so that everyone he had made may know his work. He stops all people from their labor, snow falling gently, covering the earth in its stillness. He describes how God controls the season, the cold, the wind, and the frost that's still on the land. Then he turns back to Job with a question. Can you join him in spreading out the skies? Hard as a miner of cast bronze, Job looking up at the vast sky, speechless before the grandeur. Elihu saying, who are we to question God? If we can't even control the weather, how can we demand answers from him? So, a final challenge to Job. Elihu ends with these words. The mighty is beyond our reach, and exalted in power. In his justice and great righteousness, he does not oppress. Therefore, people revere him. For this, he does not have regard to all the wise in heart. He is building up something, a moment that is about to unfold, because in the very next chapter, God himself will finally speak. So, reflection. Job 37 reminds us that God's greatness, he controls the storms, the seasons, and the earth itself. But it also reminds us that while his power, we don't always understand his ways. Elihu speaks with passion, but he still doesn't fully grasp Job's suffering. Soon, God will answer for himself. Have you ever demanded answers from God, only to be met with silence? Remember, sometimes that the stories come before the voice of God. Be still, and you know that he is working. If this message speaks to you, share it with someone who needs encouragement. And we'll see you next time as we continue to the book of Job. You have a blessed, wonderful day.